Beecher's Hope is more than just a setting in Red Dead Redemption 2. It is a tapestry of layered storytelling, rich with secrets and subtle details that reveal much about the characters, themes, and overarching narrative of the game, even years after the game's release. From its construction during the epilogue to its lasting legacy in the first Red Dead Redemption, Beecher's Hope serves as a symbol of John Marston's redemption, Arthur Morgan's lingering influence, and the fragility of hope in a changing world. Beecher's Hope is built, quite literally, from the ground up. The missions tied to its construction, such as Home Improvement for Beginners, reveal a side of John Marston rarely seen in the main narrative. Adding to the weight of the epilogue is the silent but powerful influence of Arthur Morgan. While Arthur does not live to see Beecher's Hope, his teachings and sacrifices are embedded in John's actions. During the missions where John builds the ranch, the player can feel Arthur's legacy in subtle ways. For instance, John's determined work ethic and sense of responsibility reflect Arthur's pleas during their final conversations. Arthur's plea for John to get out and start a new life resonates in every nail driven into the ranch's walls. Furthermore, during the mission, A New Jerusalem, a blue jay appears during the construction scenes. The blue jay can be seen looking over John, Charles, and Uncle in nearly every shot in this building cutscene. The bird only flies away after the mission is complete. I believe this is meant to symbolize Arthur watching over John. All over the world, there are many different spiritual beliefs about what a visit from a blue jay could mean. However, many speculate that a visit from a blue jay can symbolize that spiritual beings are watching over and protecting you, while others think a blue jay can mean that a loved one who passed away is sending you healing thoughts and energy. Upon completing that same mission, players can find wooden planks arranged in the numbers 0451. This subtle Easter egg references the gaming industry itself, specifically Looking Glass Studios. The code 0451 was used as an office door code at Looking Glass Studios and later became a recurring nod in not only their games, but other games, including those by Rockstar Games. But back to Arthur's impact on John at Beecher's Hope. The connection between the two protagonists is further deepened as players with a keen eye may notice 3 coyotes frequently spawning near the entrance to Beecher's Hope. These animals symbolize the 3 protagonists of the series: Arthur Morgan, John Marston, and Jack Marston. However, if you played Arthur with high honor, 3 deer appear instead of the wolves, reinforcing the spiritual connection between the game's themes of morality and nature and the player's honor. Furthermore, after the home is constructed, you can find the items John inherits from Arthur, such as his journal and satchel, which serve as tangible reminders of Arthur's impact. While at the same time, you can catch more conversations about Arthur between characters at the ranch.
Arthur. He saved us, didn't he?
You remember that time?
Not much. I was only little.
He did save us, yeah. None of us would be here today if it wasn't for Arthur. But your pa don't like talking about him. Ain't that right, John?
The past is gone. We've left that behind.
Quite the bookworm we got.
Well, he'll never earn a living.
You fools just about managed. You can hardly read.
Well, John found himself a good woman. She saved him. John saved me. I saved Charles. So it goes.
So it all starts with a good woman.
Exactly. It all starts with a good woman. John Marston is the luckiest man alive. Arthur told me that a long time ago.
Finally, old man, you made me cry.
Now, as John progresses through the epilogue missions, subtle changes occur around Beecher's Hope. Inside the house, new furnishings like a painting of John and Abigail above the fireplace appear. Outside, structures like the gazebo and the barn gradually take shape. These additions reflect John and Abigail's efforts to make the ranch a true home and emphasize the passage of time as the family sails in. Another thing many players didn't notice is that you can find a functional bookshelf in a living room of the home. This bookshelf contains all of the books we have collected throughout the playthrough. You can only read 2 pages, but this is still a cool feature. I noticed that the characters in Mary Beth's book seem to be loosely based on Miss Grunshaw, Dutch, and Agent Milton. Speaking of old gang members, you can also find a letter from Tilly on the dining table, where she mentions that Karen may have drank herself to death. Another discovery the player can make is tucked away in a shed near the house, where you can find John's secret stash of beer bottles. Interacting with this stash triggers humorous moments, such as drunken conversations with Abigail or Jack.
Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling Clementine. Na, na, na. Might not seem like it, but I like you, Uncle.
John, I don't know if it's clear, but I find you terribly boring.
You're funny, old man. Hey, whatever your name was. Hey, you old coot.
Hi, you young scamp. You seem fun for once.
I've loosened up a little.
Okay, take care.
Ma'am,
Mr. Marston.
there's my lady.
And there's my drunk.
Yep.
These light-hearted interactions add a touch of levity to life on the ranch. There are also a number of other hidden cutscenes and interactions the player can discover in Beecher's Hope. At certain times, John, Uncle, and Charles gather around the campfire to sing songs, harkening back to the gang's camaraderie in the Van der Linde days. These moments are not just nostalgic, but also deeply humanizing, showing the characters finding solace in simple pleasures, despite their complicated pasts. The tradition of helping others also continues in the epilogue, as John receives random requests for items, echoing Arthur's interactions in the gang. For example, Charles requests eagle feathers, which he explains holds sentimental value as they remind him of his mother. And Uncle also requests some items. In return for fulfilling these requests, John earns unique rewards, such as a bottle of horse reviver or even a new outfit. Abigail can also be heard singing with Jack outside and practicing the piano in the living room.
Oh, my Lord. With his white horses side by side. Oh, my Lord. Dun, 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 dun.
It's you again.
Furthermore, if John decides to go to bed with Abigail, it will trigger one of 4 different cutscenes. This is the cutscene I got.
Good night, darling.
Good night, Abigail.
All 4 cutscenes are pretty similar, showing the stark contrast of the life the Marstons live now compared to their old gang life. And whenever John decides to sit down for dinner with Abigail, Jack, and Uncle, everybody will finish off their meal except for Jack. He just picks at his food. This is just another insanely small detail that Rockstar paid attention to. One eerie interaction the player can have as John at Beecher's Hope is with Uncle, who can often be found sitting in this spot on the front porch of the ranch house. Uncle will talk about his health in certain interactions, foreshadowing his death, which later occurs in the same exact location. And this is not the only interaction like this at Beecher's Hope. The final end credits cutscene in the epilogue also ends with John and Abigail standing at the same exact spot on their property that they will later be buried in Red Dead Redemption. Speaking of Red Dead Redemption, when you walk through the barn door at Beecher's Hope, the camera shifts to directly behind John, like it does at the end of the first game before the infamous standoff. Another thing that happens at Beecher's Hope stems from a quirky reward from the stranger mission, A Better World, A New Friend, where you deliver perfect animal carcasses to Mrs. Hobbs, a taxidermist in Strawberry. While initially seeming like a humorous oddity, the statue finds its purpose at Beecher's Hope during the epilogue, where John Marston can place it on the mantelpiece.
What is that?
It's art.
Oh. That's what they call it.
This unlocks a light-hearted scene with Abigail, who sarcastically critiques its artistic value adding a touch of humor to the couple's new family dynamic. However, the statue mysteriously disappears sometime after being placed on the mantel. This has sparked fan speculation. Whether Abigail moved it, Jack took it, or it's a playful jab from Rockstar, and it simply moves on its own. The player can find and return the statue a handful of times from random locations. Beyond its humor, the squirrel statue symbolizes the small joys and quirks that bring levity to life's darker moments. For Arthur, who may have originally owned it, the statue reflects his capacity for kindness. For John, it represents his attempts to build a home where laughter can coexist with hard work. During John's time on the ranch, he can also engage in various chores, such as feeding chickens, milking cows, and clearing out the barn. While these tasks may seem mundane, they have more to offer than meets the eye. Completing chores incrementally boosts John's honor and unlocks small rewards, such as store discounts. Additionally, John can store goods like eggs and milk in a wagon, which can eventually be sold for a small profit. This feature, though underwhelming in monetary terms, adds an immersive layer of realism to John's life as a rancher. Beecher's Hope is far more than a picturesque ranch. It is a treasure trove of hidden details and subtle storytelling that enriches the player's experience. From nostalgic callbacks to the original game, to humorous and heartfelt interactions with family and friends, the ranch encapsulates the themes of redemption, hope, and the enduring struggle to build a better life. By taking the time to explore its secrets, players can uncover the full depth of this iconic location and appreciate its role as the emotional heart of the game.